Back here on CBS Sports HQ, and the matchups are set in the Eastern Conference. In the NBA, of course, the Celtics clinching that 1 seed with the NBA best record. But after that, there was a lot on the line today. The Knicks clinching that 2 seed with an overtime win over the Bulls. And then the Bucks, of course, losing to the Magic. The Cavs are getting the 4 seed. Magic are the 5 seed. You see the bracket here. Now, the only prior playoff meeting between the Cavs and the Magic, that was back in 2009 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Orlando winning that one 4-2. Then you see Chicago, Atlanta 9-10. The 76ers in the Heat 7-8. Both of those play-in games are going to happen on Wednesday. We have our NBA analyst Brad Botkin here to talk about the NBA playoffs, specifically the Eastern Conference. And Brad, we saw the bracket there. The Heat and the Sixers, they're going to play in that play-in tournament. And we saw Miami make a really deep run last season as an 8 seed. We know Miami is a little bit different when it comes to the playoffs. But how do you think Jimmy, Bam, Tyler Hero are going to be matching up with this Sixers squad?
I mean, this is tough because at the beginning of the year, we always do the same thing with the Heat. Oh, they're not good enough. And by the end of the year, nobody wants to play them. The Sixers were the reverse. At the beginning of the year, Joel Embiid looks like a shoo-in for a second straight MVP. They're top 3 net rating team. They look like a top shelf championship contender. Then Embiid goes down, and now we're all asking ourselves, are they ready to go? Has he hit the ground running at enough speed to walk into not a one-and-done game, but a play-in situation in 7-8 against Miami, and whoever comes out of that playing the Knicks? So I don't know where to go. You know, we need definitive answers on shows like this, but this is very difficult to gauge. I mean, how can you go against Miami in the postseason with what they've done coming out of the play-in last year all the way to the finals? So it's difficult to gauge. I would have to go with best player. Joel Embiid was the best player in the league when he was right. If he has gotten back to that level, and he has looked pretty good, I would have to give a slight edge to Philadelphia with Tyrese Maxey now able to sink back into that number 2 role, because he is devastating when the defense can't focus solely on him.
And, of course, the winner of that matchup is then going to go on and play the Knicks. So do you think the 76ers a tougher matchup for the Knicks, or is it Miami when you look at it head-to-head?
I mean, again, you know, this really feels like that's going to be a tight series that you can sort of throw out the seeds. You're going to look at a 2-7 matchup and say, historically, that goes to the 2 seed. But that feels like a knockdown, drag-out, whoever that ends up being. You know, I'm watching the Bulls and the Knicks today, and listen, there's a ton of great vibes around the Knicks right now. It is a better league. You know, we hear that all the time. It's a better league when the Knicks and the Lakers and the Celtics and the Bulls and these high-profile teams are good. But the energy around the Knicks right now, the energy in Madison Square Garden, I see why they want to go up to the 2 seed. But if you're looking at it completely objectively and removing the vibes and the mojo and the momentum and all of that, might the Knicks have wanted to lose that game today and go to the 3 seed and play the Pacers? I think if you're looking at it objectively, they actually got a tougher matchup, whether it ends up being Miami or Philadelphia, than had they lost that game today and wound up playing the Pacers.
Let's talk about the other play-in with the 9-10, which is the Hawks and the Bulls. The loser is eliminated. When you look at this matchup, Brad, who are you giving the edge to, the Hawks or the Bulls?
Oh, my God. You know, we did this the other day, you know, on the morning show. You were just commenting on it off air. I don't know who I give the edge to. I mean, I realistically, I think, look, Trae Young is back for Atlanta. Like, he can get hot. 1-game scenario, it's like March Madness. Anything can happen. But I would give the edge to the Bulls. They're playing very well. They actually have played at the pace of about a 45-46 win team after a very bad start. DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, one of the better defenders. Kobe White, you know, one of the most improved players in the league. I think they're a better team than Atlanta. But yeah, this is a who cares, because if they win that game, they're either going to lose to the loser of Miami or Philadelphia, or they're going to somehow squeak in and get the 8 seed and play Boston. So, you know, have some fun in the play-in while you're at it, but irrelevant.
Irrelevant, says Brad Botkin. Sorry, Brad. I'm just laughing at you putting the nail in the coffin for whichever team.
It's over. Listen, at most they're going to win 2 games. They're going to somehow, and I doubt that. They might, but they're going to lose the second play-in game, or, like I said, squeak in, and Boston is going to destroy them.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens. We never know. But let's talk about the Pacers. Okay, we're going to clip it. We're going to clip it. Brad's probably right, but you never know. Hopefully you're a little bit more optimistic about this next matchup, because the Pacers, they're making their first playoff appearance since 2019-2020, that season. And they're facing the Bucks, where, you know, Giannis and his health has been a big topic of conversation. Can this Milwaukee team beat this Pacers team, even if we don't have Giannis or don't have Giannis at 100%?
Dude, listen, this is there's trouble written all over this. I got to go back and we're doing this all on the fly right here. I'm going to look at this. I hope I'm right. I think I am. I think the Pacers have beaten the Bucks 4 out of 5 times this year. Okay, now we're talking about possibly Giannis Antetokounmpo not being back. That calf injury post Kevin Durant, when he was down with that calf strain, I talked about this last week on HQ. This is something that sounds innocuous. It sounds like a strain. But I talked to multiple orthopedic surgeons over the time that Kevin Durant was dealing with this. Damian Lillard has dealt with it. Calf strains very easily lead to Achilles tears. And after that happened to Kevin Durant, they are going to be super cautious. I would not be surprised if he misses maybe a game or 2 of this series. But even if he plays, this is sort of an up in the air thing. And the Bucks have not been consistent this season, even with Giannis. They are vulnerable at the point of attack. Tyrese Halliburton can take advantage. Whoever is guarding him on the perimeter, they lost so much being Milwaukee. When they got rid of Drew Holiday and flipped it out for Damian Lillard, they thought that they would make up enough offensively to compensate and then some for the downgrade defensively. That has not been the case this year. Lillard has not had a great season. He's had to adjust to playing off the ball more. There are a lot of unknowns about this Milwaukee team, who laid another egg today with a chance to secure the number 2 seed. They are not. We're talking about mojo with the Knicks. They're going in with horrible mojo. And the Pacers are a team. Remember that play-in tournament when they got hot and they got momentum? This becomes a team offensively that becomes at times impossible to stop with the pace that they play at, the shooting that they have around Tyrese Halliburton, the way they create for each other. And they have been pretty much an average defense over the second half of the season. And that's all they need to be dangerous, because of the way they can score the ball and the pace that they play at. So I think if we're talking upsets, this is one of the most ripe series to keep an eye on. Indiana has kind of been forgotten about a little bit, but they squeak into 6. They get, I think, as good a matchup as they can get with a Bucks team that has been floundering. Really keep an eye on this one. Indiana could pull something off.
Yeah, Brad, you were right. Indiana 4-1 against the Bucks this season. You mentioned Milwaukee laying an egg against the Magic. Since the Magic won, they're on that 5 line, and they're going to face the Cavs. And this is a Magic team that is really young. It's a program or a franchise that needs to prove that they can win when it comes to playoff time. How do they match up with the Cavs?
Very well. And listen, it's going to be very interesting in this series. Cleveland, when Darius Garland and Evan Mobley went out this year, they stumbled onto something with Donovan Mitchell, shooters around him. They went out and got Max Strus specifically for this reason, and then one big, not the 2 bigs with Mobley and Allen. Only playing Allen, who becomes the de facto Rudy Gobert, and they kind of repositioned the Cavs as the old Jazz teams, with Donovan Mitchell handling the ball and creating in the big man rim protector. If the Cavs go back to that, they have been a very, very difficult team to gauge. They seem like they're sliding downhill, but if they go back to that and they give those lineups big minutes, I think they have too much offense for Orlando. On the flip side, Orlando, to me, feels like it's playing with house money. This is a team that over the summer, over the next few years, with the young core that they have with Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs has solidified himself as the 3rd tentpole, I think, of that franchise moving forward. Jonathan Isaac is back in the fold. This is a team that now can go in playing pretty free. Nobody expected the Magic to be a number 5 seed. Now they're dangerous because their defense is suffocating. Jalen Suggs at the point of attack, Jonathan Isaac per minute might be the best defender in the NBA. Those guys put you in defensive hell. These guys are all over you. You can't go anywhere with those guys. So listen, if they get enough offense, that defense is going to be for real. It's going to be a tight matchup, as 4 or 5 matchups should be. Theoretically, that should be the tightest series. I just want to keep an eye on Cleveland and how they deploy their lineups, because if they do it, it's easy to go with your 4 best players, but if they play to those lineups that had a lot of success in the absence of Garland and Mobley, I think Cleveland could be a dangerous team. Interesting series.
Brad, I knew the Magic were going to be on the 5 line. I knew it. I was talking to Bill Ryder earlier this season when they were on that win streak, and I said, Bill, why are we not talking about the Magic? And he's like, I don't know. But it's also because they have the best song in the NBA. If you haven't listened to it, you should go look it up. It is absolutely fire. Brad Botkin joining us here on HQ. Can't wait to talk about the Hawks and the Bulls moving forward if we have to. Taking a look.
You better get me on the next couple of days or we're not going to be talking about it.
Thank you, Brad. We appreciate it. Getting a look at the odds to win the East. The Bulls and the Hawks, they are a long shot, so we'll give Brad that. The Celtics, of course, heavy favorites, -185 to win the conference, followed by the Bucks, the Sixers, the Heat, and the Knicks, 13-1. Bulls and Hawks, man. If you're feeling feisty,
forget it.
Maybe you can
forget
get
it.
them at plus money.
They're
maybe.
dead.